Infrastructure development from roads and highways to the railways. In her budget speech, the finance minister said the government will provide over 1,10,000 crore rupees to the railways, of which 1,07,000 crores would be for capital expenditure. She's promised to further accelerate efforts on electrification, targeting 100% electrification of broad gauge routes by December 2023. Now, under the National Rail Plan for 2030, the government is looking to develop capacity to enhance both rail freight and passenger share by 2030. This is good news for companies like Alstom India, who are manufacturing in India to cater to domestic demand and meet some export requirements as well. Alstom currently has 4 manufacturing units here and is involved with fulfilling contracts for various metro projects, among other areas of interest. Joining us now to talk about Alstom's global outlook and future plans for India is Alstom's global CEO, Henri Lafarge. Mr. Lafarge, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Before I talk to you about India, let me ask you to give me a sense of what the global outlook looks like as we move into 2021. If I were to look at your numbers for the third quarter, you got orders worth about 1.8 billion euros. That was between the October to December quarter. Given the fact that a large part of Europe is in lockdown and hopefully will move out of the lockdown, what's the outlook now as far as order book for 2021 is concerned?
Thank you. So thank you for receiving me today. The outlook for 2021 is actually extremely good. I mean, of course, we had some delays in 2020 due to lockdowns and due to the crisis in general, which has impacted a lot of operators worldwide. But at the same time, we have seen globally a lot of plans in favor of railway, which is not a surprise because lots of these plans are favoring green mobility. And of course, railway is at the heart of this green mobility. So we are very optimistic for the markets 2021-2022.
So since you believe that you're confident of being able to book orders as the year progresses, are you on course then to meet that average global growth rate of 5%, which is what you had guided for between 2019 to 2023? Do you believe that you will be able to deliver on that, or is COVID likely to derail that number?
No, we mentioned in the past that because of the COVID and the 2020 low year, there will be for the first 2021, 2022, some delays in the growth, because again, our deliveries during these years will be impacted by the low level of orders of 2020. But thereafter, we'll definitively come back to the, I would say, the normalized growth rate, as we had mentioned in the past.
Okay, let's now talk about India. And as I pointed out, the government is focusing on infrastructure development, spending more on infrastructure from roads and highways to railways. What does the India opportunity look like to you?
Well, actually, it's a fantastic opportunity for us. As you know, we have just merged with Bombardier. We had also some presence in India. So now both the Bombardier, the ex-Bombardier footprint and Alstom footprint, extremely significant in India, close to 8,000 employees, serving all markets. You were mentioning the urban markets, and we are present in all metros in India, but we are also now extremely present on mainline with electrical locomotives. You know, our project in Bihar is a very big success. We are participating to the electrification. You were mentioning all the electrification efforts done by the government, and we are participating to that, both in terms of pure power supply, but also in terms of digitalization and in terms of signaling. So all these efforts are absolutely, I think, great opportunities for us, and we'll be proud to serve the Indian government.
Yes, you're right in pointing out that you're looking at orders across signaling to, of course, rolling stock and electrification. In fact, you've got the emblematic signaling order between Delhi and Meerut. But let's talk about the acquisition of Bombardier and the integration and what that will now mean for a market like India.
Well, I think the main difference is, of course, we'll have now more capacity, both in metros, in cars, in signaling, in subsystems, so in traction, bogies, and so forth. But from being, I would say, one company in India, a little bit centered around South India, I think with the new acquisition, we'll be very much present in a number of states in India. So India is no more like one center for us, but we'll be extremely close to all our customers within India. So it's really moving from, I would say, one place to being one continent for us.
As you look at integrating with Bombardier, for a market like India, will that mean any kind of redundancies at all?
No, not at all. I think, as you know, we are growing extremely fast in India with 8,000 employees, which is now at par with the largest countries for Alstom. And we are still on a very high growth rate. So if anything, this will help us to meet our targets in terms of growth and not at all lead to any type of redundancy.
You know, since you talked about the kind of growth opportunities that you see for India, the domestic market, but also in using India to be able to fulfill or cater to the global demand. Now, if I were to look at your Sri City facility in the state of Andhra Pradesh, that is your largest urban rolling stock manufacturing unit, I'm given to understand, in the Asia-Pacific region. You're also using that to export. What kind of opportunities do you see in order for you to be able to fulfill export obligations out of India?
So we have two types of export. We have the engineering, and you know that quasi 30% of our global engineering worldwide is being done in India. So there's a lot of export of engineering packages, if I may say. And then you have export of subsystems like traction, and out of Coimbatore, Coimbatore is vastly working for the export market, and most of the traction equipment in Europe for regional trains, for example, are done in Coimbatore. Then you have the full trains, and Sri City is exporting in Sydney, for example, in Montreal. So there are a lot of urban projects in the world, and Savli, which is coming from our ex-Bombardier colleagues, Savli is exporting in France, for example. So we are now exporting from India on all continents.
Okay, so exporting from India to all continents. Can you give me a little more color on what is the percentage of exports from India as a share of your India business? And what kind of, given the growth opportunities that you see in India, you know, what is the kind of revenue that you expect to generate in India over the next few years? And are you going to be making any further investments?
So in terms of export, again, it depends a lot on the equipment. But we definitively target at least a 50-50 between India and the export. And again, it depends on engineering, subsystems, rolling stock, and so forth. So the revenue generated by India, I mean, we should target definitively above 1 billion generated by India going forward. 1 billion euros, sorry. So it's
Okay. Within the international business for you, where would India stand in the pecking order? Is it within the top 3 of your fastest growing markets? Is it the top contributor? You know, can you sum up the India opportunity for us?
For you, I mean, definitively, it's in terms of growth, it's a first market for us, India, and our Indian footprint is the first footprint in terms of growth rate. I mean, we are not growing anywhere else in the world as fast as we are growing in India with the two engines, one the Indian market, the domestic market, the Indian market, and the second engine being the export market.
Okay, so that's good to hear. India is your fastest growing market. Are you looking at setting up any further capacity? Will you be enhancing capacity at your existing manufacturing facilities or setting up new plants anywhere in the country?
So we are continuously investing in our existing plants. So Sri City has expanded a lot in the recent period. Now that we have new factories in Savli and Baroda and so forth, we continue to expand. We don't have any plan to have a new facility somewhere in the country itself, but to expand our current facilities. We may see, we will of course have new engineering forces, new project development, but in terms of manufacturing, as we speak, we have, as you know, we have now a large number of manufacturing facilities. So I think it's we can expand on what we have today.
Mr. Lafarge, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. We wish you and the team at Alstom the very best of luck, also for the acquisition of Bombardier, which is now done. Appreciate your time here on CNBC.